Greetings, Dennis Daniels here. In my efforts to figure out how to leverage LangFlow to learn more about LangFlow, I realized that LangFlow apparently, when using it for using a web page for its content, it won't crawl the entire site. That's a clear oversight on my part. So figured I would start with something a little simpler and try a new LangFlow because this one I'm experiencing problems with. Uh, when I run it, it complains that that I'm getting too much text. You can see here, created a chunk size of 8892, which is too long. Let's try a different. Let's try a different web page. Let's try a different web page, and there is. I'm going to delete that one, and let's say this relatively simple page, lots of pictures, but we'll go ahead and try to use this one to teach us about LangFlow. I go back here and I click save, and in a second I get the green. I get green. I'm green across the board. That's all excellent. Now let's chat with it specifically. A brief on experimenting with and prototyping LangChain flows with LangFlow. All right, so I'm going to ask a question about Railway. So let's go back here, click on the chat button. What is Railway? And in a second, hopefully, it will tell me, and it doesn't, it would tell me that it's reading the web page and that it's doing something. But this UI so far hasn't done that for me yet. Oh, right there, I got another error. The chunk size, let's see if the error shows up here. Okay, scroll down. Okay, anonymized telemetry, blah, blah, blah. It's not showing me the error here. You saw the error on the bottom left, which is quite annoying and very fast. This, I don't know if this is the previous one. So let's shut down. Let's shut this down. And connection is closed. Control C, finish processing. All right, and let's do a quick check to see what else is running in the background. CPU is normal. Doesn't look like anything Python is running, so we're okay. Processes. Okay, so we're good there. Now let's go ahead and restart this. Clear. Now Python LangFlow. I hate to restart an application that just seems so Windows, but here it is. That's what I'm doing. Control C to open. 304 not modified. Connection is open. And LangFlow has started. But my vector store code is not there. So I'll import because, hello, I have a local import from the last one that failed. I need to cancel that, go to the desktop, need to rename it. Oh, actually, it seems like it's okay. import local file, but it's not picking up the JSON. That's very interesting. Maybe I just go ahead and use an existing one. Um, we wanted the Victor store, and the web path is, let's go with this one here, web path. Chunk size is 1000, document separator, everything is okay. I'm going to pause. Okay, the whole thing seized up, so I'm going to kill it here. There were a stack of messages, error messages in the console, but I wasn't able to scroll through the console because, well, it froze, locked the entire machine up. Let's see if we can get a little more luck here. Oh, look at that. It's not allowing me to restart. Why is it doing that? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll shut this down. And task, okay. And task. Python is still running somewhere. I'm going to end that task. And that should be okay. So let's go back and try again. Wow, LangChain, it would appear LangChain is not super stable. Again, the goal here is to leverage LangChain to learn about LangFlow to learn about LangFlow, but we're having all kinds of problems getting LangFlow to actually work. Let's start over. So I'm going to need a terminal here. So let's load up a terminal and LangFlow, right there. And we go to the documentation. We go to the documentation and right there, Control C, go to the command line. Hopefully this will work. Okay, that looks promising. All right, so Control T, Control T, Control V, LangFlow. Okay, vector store. Okay, look at this. It didn't save in between my sessions at all. Oh, look at this. We have a new error. There was an error on web connection. What is the console? Oh, look at all the errors. Something is really wrong. Module vector store agent not found. Vector store agent not found. All right, let's turn those off. Refresh the page on web connection. Okay, check if the back end is up. There is no back end. Okay, wow. Not super stable, clearly. Let's try again. I'm going to code, no, import from an example. I'm going to try the vector store again. I'm going to pause again for loading up my API keys. But actually, I don't think that's even required because you can see that there's all kinds of errors, invalid. Okay, so these are all the errors thrown while loading that particular. Well, I didn't load anything. Yes, no, I loaded this. So all those errors were thrown while this was loading. All right, so let's go back. I'm going to pause again. Okay, I've loaded the API keys, and now let's go back. I'm going to try and get LangFlow to read its own web page. Here's this chunk size, chunk overlap 200. This right here, new store and new store, finish editing. That should go green, but let's see what the terminal has to say. Okay. But right there, created a chunk of. All right. So I've seen this error already from Chroma creating a chunk size that's too large. That's a problem right there. So create a chunk size which is longer than the specified 1000. Why is it doing that? Right here, text splitter. Text splitter is throwing errors or warnings. Let's just see if this if this thing works at all. And I used the, just to verify which page, I use log space AI LangFlow. So, okay, I'm going to ask this question. How do I run LangFlow? Let's try that. Again, the goal being how to leverage LangFlow to learn about LangFlow. How do I run LangFlow? And now let's see if we get any messages, because there's been a stack of messages here. Let's see if there's anything in the command prompt. Okay, entering new agent executor change, how to find Lang. Okay, action new store, action input, how do I run LangFlow? You can run by starting an interactive tutorial, setting up process, alternative you can run by installing and then running LangFlow jcloud. By cloning the LangFlow repository and creating All right, so that's what I should see here. Okay. How do I run LangFlow locally with Python? See if it's going to be smart enough to do that, because it went to LangFlow jcloud. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so it did pick up the right answer this time. So that's positive. Now the question I have is, how do I save this information? That's another question I have. Where's the history of my chat? I still don't know how to do that. Crawl an entire site, that's another question, because in order for LangFlow to learn about LangFlow, it needs to be able to crawl in an entire site, which it does not do at this time as far as I know. Now, the other question is, how do I export the vectorized web site for future use? Let's save that, and let's take a look at what else it can do. or use the API in Gina Cloud to interact with the server. Okay, how do I create a flow is my next question for LangFlow. How do I create a flow? And let's take a look at the command. Simply drag sidebar in canvas and LangFlow provides live component to choose from. All right, so thought, and here's the final answer. Okay, so after way too much clicking and dragging and other text splitter problems, right here you can see text splitter has more problems with chunk size, which is an issue, especially with larger web pages. That's another problem to chase down later. But that being said, LangFlow did work this time. Again, the goal is how to get LangFlow to learn about LangFlow. It will definitely need to be able to crawl an entire site. I haven't found a tutorial for that. Where is a tutorial for crawling and parsing, vectorizing an entire site? And I think this, the local API, I think that's an environmental variable, but where store it? In, do I store it or pass it to lanchain on startup? Yeah, the history of the chat. So these histories might be useful in guiding the next response, because if I don't like this answer too much, then I want to be able to edit that answer so that it gets added to the vector store. How do I add my own expertise to the vector store? All right, thanks for watching. This has been quite an adventure. Appreciate your patience. I've learned a lot. I hope you did too. Thanks again for watching, and happy computing.